Just because it's south and beat Hawke's Bay. We gave you some leeway there, Mr Chairman, but thank you very much, Mr Chairman. I find myself in the position of actually agreeing with the last speaker, because free trade is one of these things where you've actually got to be in the game if you want to be part of the new world era. This day and age of globalisation is very real. It will affect New Zealand. It can either be seen as an opportunity or a threat. If we see it as an opportunity and grab it with both hands, as this bill has done, then there is a real chance for New Zealand to go out to the world, to be a world leader. In this day and age, Mr Chair, it's not just companies, it's countries that are striving for competitive advantage. We suffer from the tyranny of distance. It is difficult for us to go out there and find our way in new markets. We need these sorts of free trade agreements if we are to achieve sustainable economic growth. This is a most important piece of legislation, as are all the free trade agreements that come before this House. It is a short bill, as the last speaker alluded to. However, there is a national interest analysis that runs to about 58 pages. And I must admit, Mr Chair, I take slight offence when the Green speaker stood up and said that Labor just passes anything because it has free trade agreement on the front of it without understanding the national interest analysis. Of course we understand these national interest analysis. Labor members sit on the select committee that deliberates on these bills. The Labor members and the Labor Party understand free trade agreements, what the ramifications are, what the risks are, but what the benefits of free trade agreements are. This is an important piece of legislation and we very much support it. Now, why do we support it? Because it gives our exporters an opportunity to get into markets that before were closed to us or were limited to us due to unrestricted tariff barriers. Now, we already know that Hong Kong offers duty-free imports for all countries. But what this will ensure, what the CEP will ensure, that New Zealand's existing duty-free access is locked in for New Zealand exporters, giving New Zealand exporters added certainty that competitors other than mainland China do not enjoy. This is an important piece of legislation for the future of New Zealand trade. We are an exporting nation. It is the only way we are going to grow. We have a small population of about 4.5 million. If we want to rise up those OECD rankings, what tends to be most important to some politicians, then we really need to do that through engaging in export markets. We have the most favoured nation treatment. What does this actually mean? It means New Zealand service exporters have also secured strong future-proofing of our position in the Hong Kong market through the most favoured nation treatment and a ratchet clause, which actually isn't that bad. Most favoured nation treatment means that New Zealand exporters will automatically benefit from any preferential treatment that Hong Kong provides to future FTA partners, subject to certain reservations and exceptions. And the ratchet clause means that any future unilateral liberalisation undertaken by Hong Kong in certain sectors will be bound in and committed to New Zealand. This is about New Zealand going out into the world and developing agreements and relationships with countries which it otherwise wouldn't. This is, as my colleague Pete Hodgson mentioned, this is taking the lead. We can wait till all these WTO agreements, multinational WTO agreements come into place, but if we waited for them, we could be waiting for a long time. This is a proactive response to what is happening around us at this point in time. We have a long tariff phase-out. New Zealand will be using the same tariff reduction schedule as the New Zealand-China FTA for imported products from Hong Kong. In order to help mitigate the potential for any negative adjustment effects associated with the phase-out of these tariffs, the longest tariff phase-out periods apply to industry sectors in New Zealand that are particularly sensitive to imports from Hong Kong. And this is why I say when the Green member stands up and berates Labor for not understanding this free trade agreement, I take exception to that. One point I would like to make, and I mentioned in the second reading, is I actually don't think that the national government is actually taking this seriously enough. They are cutting the budget to NZTE initiatives that Labor ramped up. I actually don't think that New Zealand is resourced enough to take full advantage of the effects of this and other free trade agreements or closer economic partnerships, whatever you want to call them, that are before the House. If we are really to take advantage of these, we need the government to fund them. We need the government to understand that this is the future of the New Zealand economy. Thank you.